much for joining us today. I'm here with Richard Hoyles. You're a public affairs specialist at the Dayton VA Medical Center, and I appreciate you being here to teach us a little bit more about what the Dayton VA does and what it can do for our viewers. Can you give me a little bit of an overview to start?
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for having me, Kate. So I work at the Dayton VA Medical Center as a public affairs specialist, and a lot of folks don't really know where the Dayton VA is or necessarily even know what we do. One of the things that's really neat about the Dayton VA is we were one of the oldest VAs in the entire country. So we were established just after the Civil War ended. And so we're continuing that mission, which is to care for him who shall have borne the battle. That's kind of our motto. So we care for veterans out there at a full service hospital. We have over 350 beds. We have a campus that's just about 400 acres. We've got a whole bunch of resources for veterans. And if you're eligible for services, then some of those services are free and in some cases have very low copay. So we encourage veterans to apply if they haven't applied for their health care so we can take care of them.
Well, let's get into that right away. How does someone find out if they are eligible and apply?
Right, so one of the first things you need to do to determine if you're eligible is to fill out a 1010EZ application for health benefits form.
That sounds complicated already.
Yeah, it has a long title,
okay.
But it's very simple.
Good.
It's going to ask you things like your income. It's going to ask you for your DD-214, which veterans know is that form that you get when you separate from the military. So most veterans have that. If you don't, you can certainly get that from the National Archives. So you'll fill out the 1010EZ. You can either do that from va.gov, so that's www.va.gov. If you're familiar with a computer, you can fill it out online and get it submitted, and you'll hear back something within a few weeks. Or if you like, you can always contact us here locally at the Dayton VA. You can give us a call, or you can visit us. If you visit us, you'll want to visit the Maroon desk there at the Dayton VA. They deal with eligibility. That's their bread and butter, is eligibility. And they'll be able to walk you through it. And you can also give our outreach team a call. Our outreach team would be happy to discuss this with you and help guide you through this eligibility criteria. So that's one way to get in, is through the 1010EZ. Often though, veterans may find they have a service connection. Say someone worked on a flight line, and so maybe their hearing is suffering as a result. Well, that is a service-connected disability. So you'll want to get with a veterans benefits counselor. You can see your county veteran service officer, or you can come to the Dayton VA and get with a benefits counselor. And that's called a claim. So there's two different ways. If you have a service connection, you can file a claim and you can get in the VA that way, or you can start with the 1010EZ application for health benefits. I recommend that you start with the 1010EZ, because what that's going to do is it's going to rule out if you have any income restrictions. If a veteran makes too much money, then the 1010EZ is not going to allow them to be permitted into the VA. At that point in time, that's where they have to have a service connection. And that is different for each individual veteran, the income amount, depending on how much you've spent on health care the previous year. So it sounds complicated. That's why you need to give us a call.
That's why you're here.
That's right, so we can help you sort things out. So don't feel like you're out there lost. I'll share with you that out there at the Dayton VA, a third of our staff are veterans. I myself, I'm a Navy veteran.
Thank you for your service.
Absolutely, and thank you for your support. So we are there for the veterans. We care very deeply about the veterans. So we've been in that same situation where maybe you don't know where to go, what to do. We're going to help you walk through it. So just give us a call and we'd be happy to help you out.
Do you know, and I know this is off the top of your head, roughly that income threshold?
And like I said, it's something that does vary veteran to veteran. So for example, if you've spent $10,000 in health care in the previous year, that is going to factor into your income guidelines. So it's going to be different for every individual person, and it is based on locality as well. I do recommend folks start there with the 1010EZ, because it is a simple form to fill out. You can fill that out, and you can even get a claim going at the same time that you're awaiting your application for health benefits, 1010EZ, to be completed. You'll get a result back in sometimes just a few weeks, and then you can go and work on your claims from there. So it's good stuff all around.
Great. If you're just joining us, I want to remind you that we're talking to Richard Hoyles, Public Affairs Specialist with the Dayton VA Medical Center, and we're just talking about what the Dayton VA does in our community and can do for people within our community. You were talking about if someone fills out this form, if they find out that they are eligible for this service, what does that include? What doors does that open?
Yeah, so if you are eligible for health care benefits, what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to go to the VA for your prime care. You could go there for your prime care or your specialty care. It could be something as simple as maybe you need your annual checkup. You'll be given a team, which is a primary care team. You'll be assigned a team so that they know who you are. We serve over 40,000 veterans. We serve counties in Ohio and Indiana. So we have 4 community clinics as well, but each one of those individual branches, the way that they're set up is so that if you come in, and each time you come in, you're going to see the same receptionist. You're going to see a doctor who's familiar with who you are and what your specific needs are. And so you're going to get that familiarity that you would hope to have with your primary care physician. And if it's service connected, if what you're being seen at the Dayton VA is service connected, then it costs you nothing. There is no copay for anything that's service connected. So, it's just a great benefit to have.
It's great to hear you talk about that, because that sense of familiarity and comfort has to be so important, especially for veterans who some of them have maybe not had care or been trying to figure out how to get it for so long.
Absolutely.
Why should someone go through the Dayton VA? Why should they enroll through that system?
That's a great question. Veterans, a lot of times when we're speaking with veterans, we have to understand that these are benefits that you have earned. This is an earned benefit. If you have a service connection through your duty of serving the country, then it is our job to make sure you're taken care of. And this is, you're not taking away from one veteran to care for yourself. Actually, the way that local VAs receive funding is when you have additional veterans sign on, you receive additional funding as a VA. So a good way to take care of your other veterans is to follow up on those issues that maybe you kind of let set aside for a while. Maybe you were a parachute jumper and you have ankle problems. That's probably a service connection. You'll need to get that checked out. Sure, maybe you're limping along, you're managing fine right now, but we can take care of you. If your hearing's busted, we have hearing aids. Hearing aids can cost thousands of dollars individually. So, these are things that are benefits earned. So we encourage veterans to come out there, make sure they're getting the benefits that they earned, and that we're taking care of them. Because like I said, we're all veterans, and we want to make sure we're taking care of our fellow folks.
Can you think of any just anecdotal story that has impacted you, someone who you have met through the Dayton VA and been able to help or see their life really improved through these services?
Sure. We have these enrollment drives that we do from time to time. It's kind of all hands on board, and we'll have these enrollment drives where we'll get together and we'll help veterans walk through that 1010 EZ. And I do remember in particular, it was the first enrollment drive that I had ever been on. And this gentleman comes up, and he had to be in his late 90s, and he was a World War II veteran. And he actually comes up to me, and he said he had never applied for VA benefits, never. And his son brought him down there and said, well, I guess it's time, to see what I'm eligible for. And his story was incredible. He was a World War II veteran who had helped work on cracking the Enigma code. So he brought with him all these newspaper clippings of some of the projects that he had worked on, and it was just incredible to see him, and of course he was eligible. He ended up being eligible for health care, which was just a great story, and just awesome that you get to meet some folks like that.
And to know that those people are living in our community. That's
Sure.
incredible. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
What kind of outreach do you do? I mean, you say enrollment days, you're here today with us talking about these programs. What other ways can veterans hear about your services?
Yeah, we do outreach throughout the community. Like I said, we do serve counties in Ohio and Indiana, so we have a very large reach. So we're doing outreach most weekends. We go to festivals, we go to all types of shows, home shows, things like that. We'll set up a booth and we'll have resources available for veterans to find out more and to assist walking through that 1010 EZ. But more importantly, we will also come to you. So if you have a group, a church group, a community group, maybe it's a game group that you get together, and just some sort of community group, we would love to come out and speak with you about what the VA can offer. So be sure to give our outreach team a call and coordinate that, because this is no charge. We'll come out and we'll give a presentation about what the Dayton VA has to offer and how you can apply for benefits. We'll share our story with you, and we'd love to do that. So please just give us a phone call.
I'm reading through, you gave me an info sheet of some of the services you offer, and I want to make sure we get to all of those.
Oh, sure.
So a full service hospital with more than 350 beds, primary care you've talked about, but optometry, audiology, you mentioned the hearing aids. Dental clinic, hospice unit right there? Right.
Hospice, we call it our CLC, which is our Community Living Center. We do have a hospice unit there. This is something a lot of folks maybe don't like to necessarily think about, but hospice and palliative care is something we do offer. You'd be surprised what you are eligible for. And so, like I say, we have a full range of services. And if you're a veteran, say for example, you're a female veteran and pregnant, we don't have maternity services at the Dayton VA, but if you're an enrolled veteran, we will send you to the community to care, to have your pregnancy taken care of, and these are things that would cost you nothing. And so you need to make sure that if you are a veteran, that you have applied for these benefits, because like I say, you would be surprised. Things for women veterans like mammograms, things like that. We don't do them at our facility, but we'll send you to a local place that does, so that you can have, however often you and your care team determine you need, say, a mammogram, that you're receiving the care that you need that's in the best interest of the veteran. And that's the gauge here.
I see two on here I want to draw attention to as well. Substance abuse programs, and then you say residential and outpatient post-traumatic stress disorder treatment. Those are two probably, as you're saying with others, that maybe people don't want to ask about right away or don't want to call and be upfront about necessarily, because there's a stigma associated with that. But how important to know that those services are here and available for our veterans.
Absolutely. In a lot of cases, like with what you mentioned, substance abuse, perhaps mental health, things like that, we'll have family members who will reach out and say, look, I need assistance. My brother is a veteran and is going through some rough times, and they'll work through our social work team to locate this veteran and to make sure they're taken care of. So if there is a substance abuse issue, that's going to involve having the veteran, we have in-house programs where the veteran lives on campus. We have programs that's totally tailored to whatever, like I say, is in the best interest of the veteran. We have a homeless program. If folks need a place to stay, we can certainly help folks find a place to stay. Homelessness in Dayton has been effectively eliminated, as from the award a few years ago. But we still see veterans, who are at risk for homelessness. And so our social work team works with the community, works very close with the community to make sure that substance abuse, veterans who are homeless or at risk of being homeless, that they're being taken care of. And so certainly give us a call and we'd be happy to help out with that.
I want to give you an opportunity to speak to the stereotype that some people had. I think it's getting better, but that care takes a long time.
Yeah, we're very fortunate at the Dayton VA, and the VA as a whole has this thing called the Mission Act that has recently been passed. And what the Mission Act does is it enables a veteran to go to the community for care. Now, you need to coordinate with your primary care team. You can't just show up at a random doctor's office and have that covered, but you would need to coordinate with your care team, and if it's in the best interest of the veteran, they will send you to a community care provider at no cost to the veteran. Now, and I say the Dayton VA is very fortunate because our wait time for our primary care is under 7 days, which is quite remarkable. So, you give us a call and we can get you a prime care appointment, and usually in less than a week, and in some cases in just a few days. So we're very fortunate to have that. But in other cases where maybe, say it's mental health or something where there's typically a national shortage, we will do everything we can to make sure that if we can't take care of it, that we will get it taken care of within the community so that the veteran is taken care of. So the Mission Act has done a lot of good to help combat that that stigma that you speak of, where maybe it takes a long time. So yeah, we're gearing in the right direction, and we're pretty happy with it.
What if someone is watching this video and they want to be a part of helping veterans? Maybe they're not a veteran themselves. How do you recommend that they get involved?
So helping veterans is one of the most rewarding things that you can do. We have, like I say, over 40,000 veterans that we see each year at the Dayton VA alone. So you get a lot of walks of life, you get a lot of individual needs, and every veteran has a story. And it's always neat to see veterans sharing their stories with other veterans and volunteers. So we'll have volunteers who come out to the Dayton VA, and you'd be surprised at the needs that we have. We run on volunteers for many of our operations. Things like patient transport are greatly enhanced by having volunteers. Our campus is almost 400 acres. It's like a college campus. It's very large. It's a beautiful campus. Lots of buildings all over. And for folks who...
In fact, we can see it in the background of this video right now.
And if you're not familiar with it, it's like a military base. If you're looking for building 330, where is that? Maybe you have a piece of paper that says, report to this building at this room, and you don't necessarily know where that is. So we have volunteers who help out. We have, as soon as you pull in, we'll park your car for you. It doesn't cost you a thing. You don't have to look for parking throughout the whole campus. Just pull on in, we'll park your car for you. And right at the front desk, as soon as you walk in, we have staff who can help you out. But we also have our Red Coat Ambassador program. These are volunteers, and in many cases veterans, who will help lead you where you're trying to go to. They're going to help with wayfinding. And so they wear a red coat, and they got a smile, and they'll welcome you into the facility, and they'll gladly show you where to go. So volunteers and volunteer opportunities abound at the Dayton VA for individuals, but more importantly for groups. We do have a need for group volunteers. So if you have a church or a community group who would like to volunteer, perhaps you'd like to run a bingo game for our inpatient veterans. Maybe you'd like to throw a pizza party, something like that. Certainly give us a call. We have a branch called Voluntary Services. Give our Voluntary Services folks a call, and if you have a group or if you're interested in volunteering, give us a call and we can set that up for you. We'd be happy to do so, and we welcome volunteers.
I want to make sure you have a chance to really talk and sell this food pantry that I hear is massive and so helpful to so many people.
That's been a great program. We've had a lot of group volunteers for that, which has been very helpful. Each pantry we have takes about 20 volunteers. So, and that's why I'm really saying these volunteers are critical, because we have to have them. We have a food pantry at the Dayton VA. It's once every 2 weeks. And here's the really neat thing about it is you don't actually have to be enrolled at the Dayton VA to take advantage of this food pantry. This is a veterans food pantry. You can come in as a veteran, bring your DD-214 and a form of ID, or bring your VA ID with you, and you'll go through a check-in process, and we'll get you through the pantry. If a veteran shows up in need, we'll get you taken care of. Now, we work in partnership with the Dayton Food Bank, which is a great partnership. They're the ones who supply all the food that we have. They set up pantries in a network throughout the community. And so we've had this pantry going for just over a year now. And the registration process, it's going to have some income guidelines on it. But if a veteran shows up hungry, we're going to get you taken care of. To date, in just over a year of operation, we've served over 7,000 veterans, and over 200,000 pounds of food have been distributed to the community. So this has been a great resource for veterans, and we've also had individual companies who have worked through our voluntary service program, and companies have come out with their employees as volunteers for the day, just to help out the veterans. And it's been very rewarding, and it's just a great thing for our community.
It sounds like it. Thank you so much for sharing all of this background. There's so much available to help people that many of us, I think, just don't know about. Can you remind us again, if someone is curious, wants to get some more information, or wants to actually start that enrollment process, how they can do it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's key, is beginning the enrollment process. Where do I start? If you're savvy with the computer, go to www.va.gov, or you can give us a phone call at our maroon desk, and you can talk to a real life person. We'd be happy to speak with you about enrollment and start walking you through that 1010 EZ. And like I say, that's the thing that you need to begin. Work on your service connection a little bit after you fill out that 1010 EZ. But begin with that 1010 EZ form, and we'll help you through it.
All right. Richard Hoyles, thank you so much for being here with us with the Dayton VA Medical Center, helping so many people in this area and around the Miami Valley, into Indiana even. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you joining us. And if you have any questions, make sure you reach out.